I love you.
Various types of life rafts are currently in use, but we will focus our discussion mainly on life rafts that conform with the SOLAS 96 amendment. Made of synthetic fibre with synthetic rubber or polyurethane, life rafts are kept airtight and watertight. Featuring good stability and habitability, they have a structure that withstands harsh environments. They are normally folded and are kept stored in an FRP container. Life rafts carried on tankers are oil-proof and flame-proof, and some have a structure that prevents accumulation of static electricity. Life raft accessories include canopy light, room lamp, seawater battery, lithium battery, safety valve for chamber, inflation gear, sea anchor, retro reflecting tape, and boarding ramp. These items have specific applications for specific contingencies. Some are used at an early stage during launching and initial drifting. Some are employed to maintain the crew's physical strength while adrift, while others are used to maintain the life raft's performance. Still others are for transmitting distress signals. All life rafts conforming with SOLAS 96 have instruction stickers on the surfaces of their containers. One of the most commonly used life rafts is the docking type, which is stowed on deck. The life raft container is placed on a cradle and is secured by a lashing wire with an automatic release device. Life rafts conforming to SOLAS 96 are of the weak link type, and the painter is attached to the painter connecting ring. An automatic wire and an operating wire are located at the painter's midpoint. The operating wire is connected to the painter inside the container. Some older types of life raft have a separate automatic wire or wires and painters and do not have a weak link. Manual dropping of a life raft is possible by pulling the release handle built into the cradle. The automatic release device has an automatic operating mechanism that is triggered by water pressure. It cannot be operated manually. Some older types of life raft feature an automatic release device with a manual dropping handle. A cradle with a weak link has one end of the weak link connected to the cradle and the other end either to the painter connecting ring or directly to the painter. When a ship sinks, tension is applied to the weak link and the link disconnects, separating the life raft from the ship. In an emergency situation, it is possible to manually initiate a gravity fall of the container along the inclined cradle. In this case, the operating wire is pulled and the inflation of the life raft is triggered, opening the container and allowing the life raft to inflate automatically. Some units allow inflation and discharge of the life raft by pulling the painter manually after dropping the life raft container. When the life raft is dropped manually, the ship and the life raft are moored to the painter and no tension is applied to the weak link. As such, it is necessary to cut the painter after embarkation. Should the ship sink before the life raft can be dropped manually, hydraulic release equipment will be activated at a water depth of between 2 and 4 meters. The container's buoyancy causes the automatic wire to be pulled, inflating and discharging the life raft. At the time of inflation, the painter is disconnected from the ship upon activation of the hydraulic release equipment. The weak link is broken after the life raft is inflated. The painter and one end of the weak link are directly connected to the painter connecting ring on the hydraulic release equipment, while the other end of the weak link is secured to the ship. The operating wire is connected to the painter inside the container. The painter is directly connected to the painter connecting ring on the hydraulic release equipment, and the weak link connected at the midpoint on the painter is secured to the cradle. The operating wire is connected to the automatic wire inside the container. The painter is directly connected to the painter connecting ring of the hydraulic release equipment. The automatic wire is also directly but independently connected to the cradle. All of the following must be checked prior to drop launch of the life raft. Confirm that the life raft container is not lashed with a rope or other bond. Check that there is no paint obstructing the cradle's auxiliary rail rotating pivot. Ensure that the painter is connected to the hydraulic release equipment. Check and confirm the connection of the weak link. Make sure that the safety pin is attached to the cradle's release handle. When boarding the life raft from the ship, use a ladder or boarding ramp. When climbing aboard from the water, use the boarding ramp or a ladder attached to the raft. It is also possible to jump from a height of not more than 4.5 meters onto the canopy. Pay attention to crew already in the raft. Do not board with tools, cutlery, or other objects that could damage the life raft. If the life raft should inflate in an inverted position, climb on the CO2 gas cylinder while taking hold of the righting rein on the bottom and apply your weight to turn it over to its normal position. One person can right the life raft. This operation is much easier if natural forces, wind and waves, are used. After boarding the raft is completed, remove the knife kept outside the canopy and cut the painter in such a way as to leave about 5 meters of it attached to the life raft. After separating the painter, recover the sea anchor that is tied near the external CO2 cylinder to avoid being caught in the whirlpool caused by sinking of the parent ship. Remove the paddles from the accessory bag. Stick them out of the 2 openings in the boarding ramps and row the raft according to instructions provided. Maintain sufficient distance from the ship to avoid being caught in the whirlpool. Only now should the sea anchor be redeployed. As an auxiliary measure, it is possible to move the life raft by dropping the sea anchor into the water and then pulling the life raft towards it. Initial procedures after boarding the life raft are described in the manual Instructions for Immediate Action, and it is strongly advised that these directions are followed. If the container is connected to the life raft and is floating, use a knife to sever the connection. Retro-reflecting tape, which makes a search from both sea and air easier, is attached to the surface of the life raft. In addition to this, prepare signals, radar reflector, dye marker to be used during daytime, etc. All of which can be found in the accessory bag. Now let's see how to launch a life raft using the Davit launching method. Under the Davit launching method, the container of the life raft is lifted by the Davit, and the Davit is turned to the life raft lowering position. By pulling the automatic wire, the life raft inflates, and the crew embark while the life raft is suspended above the deck. Using the Davit, the life raft is then lowered, splashes down, and is released. The biggest advantage of the Davit launching method is that it makes it possible for the crew to evacuate the parent ship without getting wet. In normal situations, the life raft container is stored on the deck cradle. The Davit-assisted launch procedure for a life raft is the same as that for a rescue boat. Lowering and launching are possible with the operation of a winch remote control. Ships are often equipped with supplementary carry-and-drop type life rafts when standard lifeboats or life rafts are installed at distances from the bow or the stern of more than 100 meters. Automatic release devices are not required for carry-and-drop type life rafts. Some carry-and-drop type life rafts are equipped with an automatic release device, but they are used in the same manner as life rafts without an automatic release device. The life raft is carried to the dropping position where the painter is secured to the ship and the life raft is dropped. When the life raft is installed on a cradle with an automatic release device, set the painter and the automatic wire so that they do not hinder automatic flotation. It is essential that they are set according to the manual provided by the manufacturers.